Good morning, everyone. I like coming to live spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. hmm Oh my God, I'm so excited about this mug that I got. Um, so I have been off for about a couple of weeks now. Um, we'll see if anybody shows up. They're like, "Hey, this lady's gone," and so we're done. You know how people are. Attention spans are pretty short. Um, However, our life will never stop happening. And so, Spirit and Coffee will never stop happening, even though it takes a break. So, I did take a break, and it felt really good actually for the first time in since I started this whole podcast. So, just wanted to say cheers to you. But I went to Miami, and if you don't know, in St. Pete, there's this beautiful place. Hey, good morning. Who's on Facebook? Just say good morning. Where they do, this is a potter. This was done by a potter, right? Because I was looking for a new mug, and it's amazing the craft and art that went into this. Looks like glass almost. And I have a few more mugs that I bought. Never going to replace my favorite mug that broke, but it's a start. And so I have a couple of mugs that are going to make their show on here. So beautiful mug, beautiful art. Love that they sell local artist stuff down there near St. Pete, the pier. Anywho, let's get started. So I did take a little trip to Florida, and my cousin said that I take forever to get started on these things. She said you need to hurry it up. That's some brutal honesty right there, right? Which is kind of funny to me. I don't mind feedback from individuals. In fact, I just kind of find it comical sometimes. So let's get started. It has been crazy. Right now, I am taking a couple of classes for my master's program. One of them being, hey, Andrew, being the personal identity life purpose class. Really looking at what is your life's purpose and starting to understand what does that mean for you. Now, we all have a sacred purpose. We all have a reason here on this planet. And because we are spirit manifest, right, in the flesh. Now, typically, this is thought about backwards. Typically, people think that we're a body that has a soul, and instead, I would say that we're a soul that has a body. In other words, we are the manifestation of the divine, which is kind of cool, right? If you thought of it from that perspective, meaning that we are a creation and an extension of the divine and the pattern of the divine. So it could be like a fractal pattern that we are, right? An extension. Each one of us has a unique signature that we get to imprint on the world. That unique signature. Now, we find the unique signature in all sorts of ways, right? If we looked at DNA, people would know that it was you. Not two strands of DNA are exactly the same. Our fingerprint, right, has a specific design. No two people have the same fingerprint. No two people will see things the same way exactly. No two people have the same vision or upbringing or whatever it is. Just like no two trees grow the same exact branches the same exact way or blossom the same exact fruit the same exact way. So it's really quite interesting, right? The way that it works. However, we're all connected to the same source. We are a unique extension of that. And we have a fingerprint that we get to leave. So in the personal identity class and life purpose, it's really looking at how we are unique. You are this unique, beautiful pattern that is expressing itself. Soul in expression, right? You are the soul that is expressing itself in the flesh. And in fact, I had wrote something about that. Now, what I'm doing and what I'm looking into is something called transpersonal psychology, something that I've heard of it, but never really have dived, one of those words, into it. Okay, I never really read about it or tried to understand it. So when we talk about transpersonal psychology, we're talking about that we all have this unique spiritual experience, and that experience is being viewed or understood through the lens of our own mind, our own understanding, and that we can then create a divine purpose based on that. Now, what happens is obstruction, right? We get in the way of ourselves, things get in the way of us, or we allow the programming to get in the way of what we truly desire. And that becomes an issue. That becomes sort of a barrier to really living into and living out our greatest purpose, our divine purpose. We tend to get in the way of ourselves. And what ends up happening, right, is that we end up not feeling like we've fully fulfilled what it is that we need to in our life. And then we sort of are not satiated. I'm here to tell you that you have a divine purpose. You have a unique calling, a unique imprint, a unique expression that is longing to come out and to be created. Now it's, how do I get there? How do I start to really live into that? How do I start to develop and create? How do I start to manifest? How do I make it happen? This is your life's purpose in action. There can't just be a life purpose in thought. There has to be an action behind it. Now, the action starts with our practices and practicing. Now, the other day I had a very, very, very powerful conversation with the youth, right? A young girl. And the conversation is like, I'm afraid of failure. I fail. I try things, I fail. And I said, let me tell you something right now. And I want you to listen to what I'm telling you. We all fail. That's part of the process. When we could become excited, when we can be super excited about failing, we'll start to succeed. That everybody that starts is a failure. We all fail forward. And we don't even have to call it a failure. We can call it a learning experience, right? That we learn forward. That whenever we try something for the first time, we never get it exactly right. Let's go to the Matrix. I love, using movies, right? Neo was quote unquote the one, right? Good morning, bus snappers. And Neo was the one. And he was supposed to make this jump, right? And everybody was like, okay, is he going to make the jump? Let's take a look. And they were watching him, and they thought, oh, if he's the one, he has to make this jump. Guess what? He made the jump and fall on his face, right? It was like hit the ground, boom. And everybody was like, oh. And they're like, well, what does that mean? Well, it just means he has to practice. We don't master something instantaneously. It's not the way it works. Now, I don't know, boss snappers, it looks like, and thank you for joining us, looks like you do photography. So if that's the case, if I'm correct in that, I think you have a camera in front of your eye. I'm not sure what's on your profile. It looks like that. Anywho, let's take that for an example. If you are not, when you took your first picture, it wasn't the most perfect picture ever that is going to make $1 million. It took practice and time and understanding and educating yourself on lighting, on angles. I mean, I've tried to take pictures and I'm not that well practiced. I suck at them still. Every once in a while I'll get a shot. But it takes practice. You're never right away, unless you're a prodigy. There are prodigies who come out and then all of a sudden it's this Mozart. They're doing this whole symphony, right? From top to bottom. It's not like that. It's a work up. We work up to mastery. So yes, we fail forward. Yes, you're going to fail. That's part of the process. And I told this individual, I think she's 19, 18, 19, something like that. I said, guess what? We are going to fail and we do suffer. That's part of the process. I'm not going to sit there and lie to somebody and say that there is no suffering and that they're not going to suffer. They are going to suffer. We do. That's part of the process here on this planet. We all go through it. But if we recognized its value and understood how to utilize it for our benefit to grow, there's so much power packed in the failure or the learning experience, if you don't want to call it failure. Good morning on those on Facebook. I don't know who that is. That there's so much within that. There's this, it's almost like a package of inspiration is in there. And until we are able to tap into that, we are not able to move forward in our inspiration. We hinder ourselves from that because we're afraid to experience what it's like to go through the failure. That's part of life. Good morning, Mary. And most people will say, and I'm not saying anything about any religion, because again, I love all religion. There's something beautiful in every piece of religion, right? But there are some out there that say, hey, we're going to take all the suffering away from you. You don't take suffering away from people. People learn how to utilize their suffering for the benefit of their own good. If you learn how to do that by knowing thyself, by understanding the divine purpose, by understanding who you are and how to move forward from that. Because guess what? It's going to show up again. The drama doesn't end. In fact, we need the drama. Imagine life drama free. We do. Let's just say there's spouts of places and times where we experience the bliss. We literally will figure out a way to create something dramatic in order to recreate something fun for us in our mind. The human drama continues. It doesn't stop. I have never met an individual who said that they themselves have no suffering. It's not true, not possible. When we were born, we even come out crying, some of us. Put us back. We want to go back into the womb. Put me back. But when we understand who we are and we step into that powerfully and we remember that we have a divine purpose, we start to minimize the suffering and we start to leverage it. So this is leveraging and minimizing suffering, right? To leverage the suffering, to understand that that suffering has so much power packed within it that it could be like the motivation we've been looking for if we allow ourselves to go through it, if we allow ourselves to let the suffering come and learning to overcome it. So work with it, work through it, and overcome it. Again, not an easy process. Most people will say, I don't like that. They'd rather hear perhaps that you can get rid of it. And I'm here to tell you, you don't get rid of it. You learn to work with it. That is spiritual alchemy practitioner. Use everything for the benefit of the good, right? Learning how to transform, transmute the energy, and then create the divine purpose and live into your divine purpose. So as we go along, remembering that you are the soul in the flesh. You are the manifestation of the divine. You are the unique fingerprint that is expressing itself in the flesh. And that you can utilize that power to create and develop your life's purpose and legacy in a beautiful, meaningful way. So be the creator of your life. Be the manifester of your life. Also, I will be, again, creating courses. It's in the works. I know I keep talking about it, and finally finished the recordings. That's what I was working on as I took this long pause. Good morning, whoever just showed up. I took this long pause from, Facebook and the podcast, because I'm working on the courses. Super excited. It is setting goals and achieving them, teaching individuals how to manage overwhelm, how to work with time, not against it, and not to see it as a separate thing from you, but how to maneuver through and co-create with time, and then also setting all of your goals to be able to achieve them. It's going to be an 8-week program, and I'm excited to launch that course online at spiritandcoffee.com. Imagine there'll be some marketing around it for people to look into. And then, of course, Spirit and Coffee is a supplemental piece that is always going to be offered. I'm always going to get on here and give back to humanity, whether anybody's listening or not, because one day somebody may press play on these videos and not for the benefit of me, for the benefit of their own self, because that's what this is. This is for you, not for me. In fact, I let ego take a back seat when I do these things. Because it's not about ego or being right. It's about helping people to manifest their true passion and desire, to find their purpose, to live into their purpose, to create their divine purpose. I've said this since the beginning. That is the intention. That is what it's here to do. It's to love, teach people that they're loved, and to live into their divine purpose. So I'm going to be here no matter what. I may take breaks more often. I don't know. We shall see how that's going to morph. And I may expand the podcast, but definitely working on developing tools that can support, and also looking into perhaps having a retreat. Been talking about that for a long time, but I feel like I finally got the right players, the right keys, the right individuals, the people that are right in mind and heart and want to serve humanity for the benefit of all good. So that's good, because I found people, and I truly love these individuals. I believe they're here to serve the planet and humanity and the individuals who are seeking to live out their divine purpose, to give back to humanity and may be stuck and feeling alone and like they don't have anyone. Guess what? You're not alone. First of all, you have you. Secondly, you have us. So welcome home to Spirit and Coffee. You are part of the family. When you get on here, even if you only listen for 2 seconds, you're still part of the family. Even if you think I'm crazy, even if you don't watch it, whatever, I don't care. You're Spirit and Coffee family. And we as a family, a earthling family, human family, working together for the benefit of all humanity, to serve and to give back. Okay, so there you have it. Short little Spirit and Coffee compared to normal days. Imagine there'll be more to talk about as the world turns and as there's issues arising. But you guys, please remember that you have a divine purpose. Please, the world and the planet need individuals like you to go out and serve. And that's what we're here to do. So there you go. Cheers. Hope you like my new mug. I absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful. This potter who did it is a genius, in my opinion. And I have a couple of other mugs that I think are pretty cool. I have a pirate mug and all that good stuff. So that'll be making a showing soon. So I love you guys so much. It's good to be back. Good morning, Roberto. I don't know if I saw you. Sorry if I didn't. And it's amazing that I have like nobody on here. That's fine. That's the way it is sometimes, right? Those who will heed the message will heed the message. Whoever the message was for, it was for. So there you have it. I love you guys. Have a fantastical day. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.